Welcome to the Northern Outdoorsmen Podcast, where we're going to talk about hunting, fishing, and the great outdoors. Things might get a little bumpy, so jump on in. We're going for a ride. Are we good now? You sure? Audio's up?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Everything's good.
So we got Andrew here today with me. He's playing editor in the corner. We also have our lifetime long buddy, Ricky Kenny.
What's up?
Avid hunter, kind of. I'm gonna go kind of. Avid hunter when you can be. That's a way to put it.
Time permitting.
That's everybody's though. Not everybody gets to sneak out every an hour a day if we can.
I mean, an hour ain't all that much, but you got to take it where you can get it, buddy.
That's true. So Rick, how's it going?
Going alright.
Yeah. Your season's been kind of slow so far.
I've only been out a few times.
Yeah.
Working too many hours.
Yeah. Well, you got the place up by Syracuse out where you live out there.
And the property I hunt is half an hour drive, 45 minutes drive, depending on traffic.
Right.
So once, try to get out as much as I can now after work, because once the time change comes, it doesn't make it worth it, because I'll get out at 2:30, 3 o'clock. By the time sun's going down at 5:30.
Yeah.
From my understanding, they're not setting the clocks again this year.
Spring.
Oh, okay.
We're doing it this fall, and then next spring we're not doing it again. Is the last thing I've read about it. I mean, you're the dude with the computer. Look at that. You can look it right up right there. Click, click, clickety, click. Yeah, and I know they were talking about that earlier this year, that they weren't going to do daylight savings after this year. But I still believe they're doing the fall. And that's saying it's still going to happen. Who knows? Time will begin at 2 a.m. on Sunday, March 10th, and...
End of November 3rd, so still doing it.
Yeah, apparently.
Okay.
Maybe it was just a rumor.
Scratch
They
that.
keep on talking about it.
Yeah, they talked about it a couple years ago that they were going to do it, and then never did it or whatnot. I know there's certain places that don't do it, like in the world, but it's all money thing, really. I always thought it was for the schools, but whenever it changes, your kids are still getting on at dark.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter. It definitely screws up hunting in the afternoons when, time you get out of work at 2, get back. When now I get out at 5, I can make it to state land by 5:30, have an hour hunt, and then make it home with all my gear. When it gets to that, I will be driving in the dark, going to school in the dark and driving home at dark.
The hard thing is, too, I have to go home, take care of the dog, too, and then also, if I did have somebody to take care of the dog, I wouldn't be able to bring my gear because I'm on a university property, so...
Yeah, it's the hard part with me going to school, too, at the same time, is don't like to have the gear with me. If not, I usually park down the street and then walk, but then it's also in the middle of a big town, so that's not good neither.
It sounds like a good way to get pinned down by SWAT.
Yeah, well, I have a sister-in-law that lives less than a block away from the university. So I could but then I gotta go there, grab my stuff. She's a talker. She's funny, but she's also a talker, so I know that time I got there and got out of there, it'd be dark anyway, so it wouldn't work. But I'm surprised you haven't, coming down here, you haven't seen one of them bucks you guys had on camera.
I saw him once.
Did you?
Yep.
Oh.
We pulled into the driveway at 11 o'clock at night.
Oh, yeah.
Sitting in there in the apple orchard.
Yeah, I did one day on private, opening day on Andrews, and then every hunt that I've been on since then has been on state land.
You know what's going to happen when you go up to state land tomorrow, right?
Huh.
One of them, Mr. Wide's going to walk right by me, and I already filled my buck tag. I can't kill him, and you're not going to be anywhere to be found.
That's fine. I'll come back for him.
Yeah,
We got plenty of time.
Yeah, we got 3 months.
We got plenty of time. I went out this morning, I got up, checked the radar, checked outside. It was nice out. Radar said no rain till 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It was sweet. When sunlight came up, I was like, well, I'm not going to go into this new spot not knowing where anything is and not being able to see. It's I'll go have coffee with the old guys down at the diner. Got coffee. Still was nice out. Got up to the woods at 7:30 this morning. And lo and behold, the hills disappeared. I was right in the... Dude, I couldn't even see 10 feet in front of me for an hour. So I just sat in the car, watching YouTube videos and kept looking up going, all right, finally cleared up enough to where it's like I can make it into the woods and hide somewhere out of the rain for...
That's where blinds are nice.
Yeah.
They are, but
like
when you're
like
hunting
today
state
when it's
land,
been like, light, rainy, misty, like it's not fun to be up in a tree stand.
no, not at all.
Put me in a blind, I'll sit out there all day.
As long as you can stay out of the damp, you're good. But the hard part with... I'm trying to transition mostly into hunting state land if I can. Because it's a challenge for one. Not just dealing with the people, which we haven't dealt with a single person yet this
Haven't
year.
had any issues yet.
Yeah, but it's not regular season yet.
That's true, too. I probably won't hunt up there much during regular season. I do have other properties to hunt, but I'm trying to get the feel of up there. We have... I can't remember. How much state land is right up the road?
Give me 10 seconds and I will let you know.
We have quite a lot of state land that's barely used. I mean, I went in there and just went for a walk to go see if I wanted to hunt up there in one spot. Ended up getting to a spot. There was a scrape, a couple rubs. Was like, okay, this is nice. Got up in the tree. Here comes a little button buck. Nice. I made some racket, some grunts. Went back the next day. There was 6 scrapes and more rubs, and it looked like 2 deer had been fighting all night long because there was branches broken and leaves were all kicked up, and it was like, nice. What do you got?
So to answer your question, there is 787.53 acres up there.
That's it? I thought it was in the 13s.
Well, it's divided, so I pressed
Right.
on that. No.
It's divided down the one road, and then there's 2 different sections. Anyways, there's a lot of state land, and like I said, I've yet to bump into anybody.
Add 949.54 to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, quite a bit.
And that's not including 20 minutes down the drive you got over on the other side of Casadega.
Yep.
Panama's got some. We have a lot of state land around us.
I mean, not even to mention Allegheny and
yeah.
all that.
Which that's almost a closer drive for us to go to Allegheny than it is to your private land up near Syracuse. Allegheny's only a 25-minute drive to be in the main gate from here. Which we're supposed to be having on a guest soon. As soon as we can get him on when we all work out times and stuff. He only hunts state land, like one spot over near him, and Allegheny State Park, and he took a monster a couple years ago out of Allegheny State Park. I always picked on him. I'm like, what, did you just walk out one of the cabins and shoot? And not 100% what happened, but pretty close to what happened. They'll go get a cabin for like a weekend or a week or something like that up there. Like, takes the time off and just goes. And he just took a cabin. But it was so riddled with ticks. It was so bad when they called the rangers to come, like, look at it and everything like that. Now, the story might be a little off because he's not telling it. But all I remember is that all they could do was take the head. The ranger said, you are not taking that out of the state park because there was so many ticks on it. He'll be able to give us a full story.
Were they at least allowed to skin it and take the meat?
No.
Really?
It was that bad. He said, like, every time if you put your hand on it for a second, you had ticks.
See, that would ruin the whole experience for me because half of what I hunt is to eat it.
I mean, it was all he got out of it was the trophy and a little bit of, like, a neck meat and stuff like that. But they were so worried about, like, how many ticks were on it, if it would make him sick by eating the meat or anything like that.
Yeah, I see that.
I think they had to, and I don't remember, of course, hopefully when he's on, he'll tell it, but I think they ended up going and picking it up to test it. The Rangers or left it. I can't 100% remember. This bottle's pissing me off.
Have a little tantrum over there.
I am. But, anyways, yeah. Yeah, it's drinking time. Hang on. So, but other than that, Rick, what's been going on with you, man? I know you just got your new bow. That was fun to sight in. You came over a couple weekends ago to sight that in when you were back home. That ended up being really nice.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Rainy day. Like, I don't want to go out in this crap. Send a little picture to you of this bull crap going on. I'm like, what the hell? I come out for one weekend and it's crap like this. Immediately calls me and goes, what are you doing? I wanted to sight my bow in so I could be out in the woods by like 9:30, 10 o'clock, but that ain't going to happen.
Come on over.
I'm sitting on my car, debating if I'm going to go out into this tree stand or not. I'm not really feeling it. Want to shoot off my back porch?
That was another day like today.
Okay.
Got up to state land, and it was like just downpour up there. Well, it wasn't raining that bad, but it was windy enough to feel like a downpour with all the tree feathers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's gonna stick, isn't it?
It is.
Okay.
They're tree feathers from now on. Even though that podcast didn't make it on air because we lost it all,
Unfortunately, yeah.
I could not say leaves.
Yeah, every time
I went to talk about the leaves on the trees, it was, the tree feathers, right? And I just couldn't. And it was, now it's it's just my consciousness being like, yep, they're tree feathers. Earlier it was just, I just could not say leaves to save my life. But, I mean, really, yeah, you came down for the rain. You missed the only nice weather we really had. Yeah. We've had, like, out of this whole month, we've maybe had 7 days of good hunting weather.
Well, what's crazy about it, too, is, like, we get plenty of decent, okay weather during the week, except for last week, of course. But, yeah, I mean, like, that's...
Yeah, but it's only been, like, 1-2 days a week. And
yeah.
It's still been, like, misty or...
Worked out for me.
Yeah, you hit one of the good days. We had opening day, the next, like, 2 days, or the first 2 days of the season. Then the cold front came in and brought the rain. And then once a week, we've had, like, 1 or 2 days.
Yeah. But
next week looks like half decent.
Sometimes it's those days where you go walk to your stand and you only got like 45 minutes to an hour. Those are the days that generally work out the best.
Okay, listen, mister, I shot my deer 5 minutes in my tree stand. You're not allowed to talk no more.
Something
Mute
like
yourself.
That, yeah.
We'll get to your...
proud of
I remember the first time I went deer hunting.
We'll get to
My
your
dad
story
and I
in a
go
little
out.
bit.
First time I could deer hunt, and I'm out there. My dad's sitting, I don't know, 40 yards away from me. He's sitting there, and we got all day. We wanted to get there before the sun comes up and all that. You know, the sun's already coming up. We're rushing down there, and we just plop down the first spot we see. Not even 5 minutes, a deer walks, a buck walks right in front of my dad. Boom! Down it goes. He's back at the house at 8 o'clock in the morning having a cup of coffee.
Well, the thing about it, too,
I sat out there the rest of the season. I saw 2 deer the rest of the season.
Well, that was like my opening morning. It was 15 minutes into shooting light. Hit my deer, and then Andrew's like, "Are you going to keep hunting?" Like, I called him being like, "All right, I know she probably went down. I want to go check." Andrew's like, "Well, you're just going to sit in your tree stand till like 10 o'clock or something?" I'm like, "No." I was like, I got like 5 more minutes until I got to go to the bathroom, and I'm going to be out of this tree stand, and I'm going to come to you, and we're going to try to find this deer. My hunt's over.
Well, I mean, so back to that. So yeah, I may have only like sat there for 5 minutes and just had a nice buck, like pretty much fall on my lap. But you also got to keep in mind, like we put in a lot of time before that.
Yeah.
Like, and most of the season, I only saw like 2 or 3 deer.
I think that was like your 5th deer altogether.
That was like the 4th deer I've seen all year. Well, in the stand.
Yeah, you had the 4-point, you had that doe, that little 6-point, and then you had your 7-point that you shot. Which, it kind of made me mad. Not really. He was in my tree stand that I put up.
He's jealous.
Everybody was like, that went up there like, I'm not going to hunt out of that tree stand. Andrew's like, maybe 1 or 2 days.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's hunted 1 or 2 days out of his blind and
Yeah.
the rest of the season out of my stand.
It's a damn good spot, bud.
You're welcome. We did
To be fair, my blind is only like 60 yards away from your stand.
it's
So
not-
any deer I see in the stand, I can see from the blind.
Yeah, but it's just nice being in a tree stand.
It is. You get an advantage.
We'll talk about tree stands here in a little second because I'm going to have a question for Ricky
Okay.
and see what his answer is, and then we're going to go off onto your story.
Love that story.
Ricky, gotta know. That was nice. I don't know if you heard that on the mic.
I
but
did.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotta know. In your tree stand, I've always thought of you being like a safe cat, a guy that like kind of like always makes sure you have the right gear and stuff like that. Do you wear a tree harness in your tree stand?
When I'm in my climber, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
The
ladder stand?
The ladder stand that has a whole gun rail and the giant platform that you could fit
You could
3
sleep
people
on
it.
You could sleep on his platform. It's huge.
That one, I can't. I don't because I can't get the tree that it's on. It's too big for the strap to go around to tie into the harness unless I put a second one on it.
So, for one, Andrew's never hunted really out of a tree stand till
It's
this
also
year.
nice though, like when I'm hunting, using it, because you can lean.
Yes, that's why I
That's
like
the nice
mine.
thing about it. Like, yeah, like some people are like, yeah, it just makes it uncomfortable and can't get move that well. But it allows you to lean, and you can just lean and get over the rail and
Well,
lean to the side or
I
positions that
primarily
you normally can't get into because if you're stationary, you can't quite get around the tree. But having that,
well, like Andrew's been with me in the tree stand now, but primarily when I'm in my tree stand, I'm standing. I only sit for a couple minutes to take a break on my knees or get a drink or a sandwich. I'll sit. So most of the time when I'm in my tree stand, my harness is tight and I'm leaning and kind of using it to like look around the tree and stuff like that. That's why I want to go to saddles, like the saddle seats.
I was about to say that I've been
We're
thinking
gonna
about
be
looking
we're
at
looking
a saddle.
we're looking into them for next year. But Andrew over here, who's never really hunted out of a tree stand till this year, we're gonna go. Like, he got his buck, I had my doe, so it's like, hey, let's go up to the state land. I already have a tree stand set up. I said we'll put a secondary tree stand with it above me or something, so if a doe comes in, you can shoot it, and if the buck walks in, I'll shoot it, and then we'll just flip-flop the camera. And I was like, well, if you're going to be higher than me in a tree stand with no ladder, nothing, I was like, I want you to wear a harness. So he has a harness, and his is the nice one where it's around the legs and then up over the back, like instead of between the legs like mine, that going to make sure I never have kids again if I ever do fall out of my tree stand.
Probably
So-
the best of the world, but
That probably 3's enough for me. But anyway, so I'll tell the beginnings. You can tell the end. And so he tells me he doesn't have one, but maybe he has one of the ones that are just around the hip for like climbing trees.
My dad has them.
Yeah,
I have
but
one.
he showed up with the other one. I'm like, okay, sweet. So we get it on. He gets up in the tree stand, right? We set it all up. He's wearing it. Like, I like mine because it kind of holds everything together on me. I don't know. I feel safe and secure. And the only reason I was forgetting at the beginning of the year, because just like you, when I'm in my ladder stand, I don't typically wear one in my ladder stand. For one, it's got 4 ratchet straps around it, plus it's got the brace bar down halfway, and that's got a ratchet strap or two. Like, to climb into my tree stand, we could have 4 dudes climb up my tree stand at the same time, and the thing's not going to move. So the only way it's going to go down is if the tree goes down, and if the tree goes down, it's just ripping me with my tree or with my strap on.
A harness ain't going to help you if the tree falls down.
Right. So, but when I was going to state land, I usually take my climber until I find a spot long enough where I'm like, okay, I'll put a secondary up here, the strap on, and kind of climb up. Not an actual ladder stand or nothing. So, like, the third time I went up there, I still had forgot it because it was beginning of the season. The top of, this part, the seat part of the climber, I went to go lean against it, and it fell to my feet as I was leaning, and I almost went over head over heels 20 feet up in the air. So it was like, I turned around, I always carry an extra ratchet strapped my climber to the tree, and was like, okay, from now on, I'm going to be wearing my harness. And so now we're on the hunt, we're hunting together. I'll let Andrew finish the story on what happens, because glad he's here, but at the same time, the look on his face was hilarious.
I bet it was.
It was.
So, I mean,
comical
yeah,
as shit.
like Dustin said, like, I rarely ever use a tree stand other than this year. And the times that I have used a tree stand, they were always ladder stands. I never needed a harness. So, long story short, we get there. We're like 20 yards off this nice field where we got sign all over us everywhere, scrapes and rubs. So, we only had like an hour and a half. And we sat the whole hour and a half. By the time we decided it was time to leave, we couldn't see our pins.
Yeah.
And so, mind you, this is the first time I've ever worn a harness in my life. And so I turned around to take the harness off.
And the first time he's ever been in a tree stand that was just in a strap on.
Yeah. I turn around and I put my hands on the strap to start taking it off the tree. Both the cables on the platform snapped. And it goes from this to this, like almost instantly. Like I bear hug the tree. Dustin grabs me by the leg, and I'm just like, I want down now, please.
All I see is like, because we're kind of talking like, you know, I have extra straps that go around the tree with D-rings and everything. I'm like, you know, you should even wear one, and, you know, telling like, you know, even if you're in a ladder stand, you should wear one just in case you fall asleep or something like that. So take that with you. So we're discussing this, right? Like, as we're getting ready, like, I'm pretty sure my bow was already on the ground.
Yeah.
And I had already taken mine off, you know, my harness off the tree. And, like, I just looked at him, and he was literally just reaching up. And when that fell, his eyes got huge. Like, the platform of it wouldn't have fully went, like, 90 degrees or, like, straight down. Not, like, wipe out where it's just going to drop you off the face of the earth. Because we had it ratchet so tight that the back bar was still holding it. So it only did, like, the quick little 45. But it was enough to make him... Of course, Andrew's got pretty big feet anyways. And the
size 14s.
And the stand I have him in is only like a 1.5 foot wide platform by like 2 foot long. It's a tiny little one. It's like throw it up in the tree real fast and go, and you're just standing there, and your harness does all the work. So I was like, well, that's was always the one for like if I ever filmed anybody or was guiding anybody. It was one that we'd have ladder stands placed, and I would just throw that one up in next to the ladder stand in a tree with it or on the other side, so that I could just be in it. But yeah, both them cables snapped at this. Not one, both snapped at the same time. So
I probably would have been hanging by the harness had I not been facing the tree. If I was facing out.
Yeah, because you wouldn't have had nothing to grab.
Yeah.
You would have just slid. You probably would have bonked your head off that seat too.
Oh,
it's one of them old tube metal ones too. They're not aluminum. That's metal stand. It's heavy for a little thing that it is.
Yeah.
Last week I walked into work and got blood caked down the side of my ear. And they're like, what the hell did you do? Like, it looked like I had a chunk out of my ear. It was just dried with blood, scabs and everything. So the night before, I was getting into my climber. And you know how you had to pitch your climber.
Yeah.
So, you know, because as at an angle says, you go up the tree, it flattens out. So at the bottom, right at the base, it's pretty steep. And I'm just climbing into it. And as I'm standing up, the top part, the seat, let's go.
Oh.
Sides down, drags my head into the side of the tree. I'm scraping my head across the side of the tree. I'm not even 2 feet off the ground. Right?
I remember the first time I ever used a
If that
climber.
wasn't attached to the tree, I probably would have been chucking it across the woods.
I remember the first time I used a climber was the first time I got my archery buck. So that would have been Veterans Day 6-7 years ago.
Back in 1894.
Thanks, bud. And Dad never taught me how to use it. Never would let us use it, right? Well, now I'm 24, whatever, 22, 23, 24, somewhere around there. And it was like, I'm a grown-ass man. I'm going to use a climber. All right, Dad, give me the climber. Took the harness. They had all that. I could not figure out how to use it. Of course, I was in such a hurry. Only had like 2 hours to hunt, trying to get up this tree. I only got up 10 feet. Like, and it was like, nope, this is it. I'm done. I'm never using one of these again. I'm just going to sit here at 10 foot. Got my deer. Was shaking so much because I was so excited. My first archery buck. It wasn't like Andrew's first archery buck. It was just a little tiny little basket rack. And I was shaking so bad that I couldn't figure out how to reuse it to get down to go get my deer. The base of it was low enough that I could hang by my arms and was only like a foot off the ground. So I just dropped from there. And I waited for my dad and my brother to help, come and drag the deer away. And when they got back, I'm like, looked at my older brother Mike and was like, hey, can you toss me up there? I'm calm now. I can figure it out to get back down. So, he kind of like lifts me up so that I'm up there. And, all right, Rick, I also have a question for you. You haven't been hunting bow long, right? How long have you been hunting? 2-3 years now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fixed or mechanical for your broadheads?
I mean, I had fixed on the ones that I was using previously, but that's because I was borrowing a friend's.
Right.
The ones I have right now are mechanicals, but honestly, I haven't shot them enough to really know which ones do what well better than the others or whatnot.
I'll
So.
be the first to admit the mechanicals leave a bigger hole.
I don't know. Your buck wasn't much different than mine. And so Andrew's buck that he shot was a farther back lung shot. Like, it wasn't quite liver, it was kind of just the farther back lung. Didn't run 20 yards, right? Mine, with the mechanical, about the same distance. Mine,
Yeah.
I think mine was like, my doe was 5 yards farther than yours. Right behind the shoulder, right in the sweet spot. Pulled a little bit piece of lung out of her, right? Both of them complete pass-throughs. His were fixed, mine were mechanical. Hole was about the same. Mine never touched bone, but his did touch bone. Okay, snapped the bone. It was them little bastards that he did nasty work, right? But mine was right in the money spot, right where they should normally you hit them there with like a shotgun. If you hit them right in that, you know where the little dark spot is, right behind the shoulder and their knee. That's right where it was, like the money shot. She ran almost 200 yards. Like it amazes me. Like, I don't think that has anything to do with the broadheads, or they're just. Well, yours was completely oblivious that you were there, so that
Yeah, he had.
mine only knew that when I pulled back, she didn't know what I was, but ran an extra 10 yards and stood and looked the opposite direction when I hit the arrow. Like, the arrow hit the ground before she even started running. Like, she was completely oblivious to it. I mean, and just tore apart the lungs. And it's just, I don't think it has anything to do with it, but like, I never hit a bone. Like, I passed between two ribs and between two ribs. Like, you know, the triangle was like that and then like that. Like, and never touched a bone. Like, my mechanicals don't even have a ding on them. Yours just had just a little ding on them.
Tiny little nick, really.
But it just amazes me. Like, Dad is 100% set on, I almost said fixed, but set on mechanicals.
I will say this. I feel like you might have lost a little velocity with the mechanical, because when yours came out the other side of that doe, like, it didn't like stick into the ground or nothing. It kind of just laid on a.
No, it hit a branch and then flung up into that tree.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I lost. And me and Andrew are shooting the same poundage.
Yep.
Different bows. He's shooting old school Renegade and I'm shooting a Diamond. But, like, same poundage. We do need to go to the micrometer and see exactly who's shooting feet per second wise anyways.
Yeah.
But I just like to get everybody's opinion on fixed, because I was a set fixed guy. Because I always, of course, when I first started hunting bow was when they were kind of really started coming out with mechanicals, and they were the rubber band ones, and everybody was having issues with them fully opening up and engaging. So it always scared me that the first big buck I have, I'm going to have one of them, and it's not going to open up. I'm going to wound it and never touch my bow again. So, but
I think
I
now
like
they
the
got the
everybody's opinion.
mechanicals. From what I've heard, the mechanicals now are pretty much
Oh, they're
100%
awesome.
reliable on
I'm-
if they're going to open them or not.
If
now,
I get my
now it
other-
comes down to what kind of broad, what kind of head do you want on it? What
I
kind of
like
tip? Sharp one.
Yeah, I like the bone.
Sharp one. You know,
I like the bone breakers on the front. The real, like, the hardened steel ones on the front that they're like kind of concaved, so like they're meant to hit bone and split the bone. Like yours, kind of more is like the slice point, right? I can't remember what yours exactly looked like.
I got the Grim Reapers.
Is that what they were? Grim
Yeah.
Reaper? It's a question I like to ask, just because, you know, you're also kind of not new, but new coming into it. Really, Andrew's hunted about the same time too.
So these are what I'm using.
Yeah, I see the bone breaker on the front, the Allen Company Strike Impact Fixed Blade Broadhead by Allen Company.
Yeah, I think mine's got Bone Breaker on the front too.
Does yours?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm using the Rage Triple Blade. I don't know exactly what their name is. But Dad never used them until he started shooting his crossbow with them. And he's never had, I mean, every deer he's hit with his crossbow and them Rage crossbow heads, man, they're just, them deer don't run anywhere. They're just, it's like getting hit by a freight train.
90% positive these are the ones you're using.
Yeah, kind of.
Except you do have the bone breaker on the tip instead.
Yeah,
of
and those
this
are only
chisel
the
tip.
double blade, two blade. I got the tri-blade going on.
I mean, those bone breakers work, as we found out on the
Yeah.
buck, dude. That he went through ribs without an issue.
And they're also sharp as razors, anyways.
yeah.
You know,
Well, they are razors.
I mean, they're damaging. And then Ricky's are the Reapers.
The Grim Reapers.
Grim Reapers. And what are you're shooting? It's not a Matthews. Is it a Matthews? No.
These ones?
PSE.
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 PSE Stinger. Yeah.
Stinger.
These the ones.
Last year's model.
These the ones. Oh, it's loading. Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, those look pretty close.
Yeah, those are it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are nasty looking too. Are yours the tri-blade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those look nasty.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy because they have a little diagram on the bag that shows like the whole like
Yeah, that-
pattern that they do. The
Rage.
you
Rage
look at
does
it, I'm
that.
just like, holy shit, that's a big hole.
Yeah. Yeah, them are
Like
nasty.
man, my muzzle loader did a number on my doe last year. That
Yeah.
has a big hole that I put in her, but like that might be bigger.
Yeah, they're nasty, and we're testing things out this year. We have the nose jammer spray that we're using. I'm pretty sold on it already from just the actions that the deer that have been in close have been like been in close and came in downwind to me like it was nothing, like I wasn't even there.
And about that whole combo package, I've only used the spray and the deodorant. No,
Yeah,
so,
yeah, but have you had one wind you?
no, not yet.
Yeah, the one like that doe that
And I
came
showed
in,
you that video. I had a freaking squirrel just sitting right by my head, just chirping at me.
I was gonna send you that. I want to post that. You didn't answer me or not. I don't
But yeah,
think.
I was just talking to Danny Weaver at the bar last night. He swears by it too, dude.
Yeah.
And back in the day, they used to have a bear warning on it because it's not an attractant for deer, but it is going to attract bears.
And the squirrels love it.
They do, yeah. I've had squirrels jump on my bow, run across my feet, jump in the blind with me, all in 1 year this year. I've sent him a video. I was trying to get a video of it, but by the time I got the phone out, he had saw me and jumped to a tree. But like, yeah, dude, they love it.
Yeah, he literally had a black squirrel like run up the tree and like turn his head and look at him.
Sitting there right on my left side and runs around on the right, pokes his head over here, and then runs up, crawls over a branch and looks back down at me, starts chirping a little bit, and then goes up the tree.
I think I'm gonna put that at the beginning of the podcast. That video. Just because it's hilarious. Because Ricky, you know, he's got the mustache going on and everything, and he's just like, at first I don't know what's going on. He's just looking at me through the camera, and I'm just like, I'm waiting for you to say something.
But you gotta listen to it because you can hear it climbing up the tree, chirping up
And
the
I was
tree.
just like, all of a sudden, he like turns the camera just a little bit, and there's this black squirrel like right level with his head, and then it runs up and gets on a branch above him, and Ricky's just kind of staring at the phone, watching it. It's comical as shit. Like it'll be on at the beginning of this episode. All right, so Ricky's gonna show him.
Oh, and he's got a nut in his mouth too.
You getting a lot of black squirrels down there now?
I had 3 of them running around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I've been noticing more and more black squirrels around the last couple of years than anything. I mean, you'll have to look it up, Andrew, when you're done watching it. Black squirrels aren't a species of squirrel.
Melanistic grays.
They're grays, right?
They're either.
I couldn't remember if they're gray or fox.
Well, they're either grays, fox, or reds, but it's a melanistic pigment.
yeah, but we're getting.
No, I'm
They're
pretty sure they're just
everywhere
they're gray. They're gray squirrels. It's just a recessive.
Yeah, melanistic recessive gene. But,
Oh, it actually. Oh,
I know.
occurs in several species. Okay.
Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right there. There's a phenomenon occurs in several species of squirrel.
Oh, I thought they were just a gray or something.
I've always been told melanistic is more rare than albino, but I've seen more melanistic. I've never once seen albino animal in my
Go to the
life.
cities, you'll find a bunch of black
Yeah.
squirrels.
Yeah. Well, down there, I mean, I've seen a couple at my
For
dad's property. but, like,
Fredonia University is covered in
Oh,
black
yeah.
squirrels.
There's
Well,
some
They
guys
got
are
no
doing
predators.
a study. They're just, I just
And
read
oaks everywhere.
they're going to try to do a study because they've been noticing more black squirrels and whatnot, and so they're trying to do a study if like is it a predatory thing that's going on that maybe like okay like maybe it's black tops since they're found in the cities more, maybe they just blend in more with black tops from the sky, so it's a little
Well, you
harder
could think
for them to see.
black,
Or
black probably like the shadows of a tree. Black probably hides better
They're more common in
in
urban
as
areas.
opposed to rural. Yeah, but we're getting them even out here, and like we see them up in state land.
There's probably a dozen of them down at Autumn's house on South Quaker, man. It just
Yeah. Maybe it's just the way the global warming or something.
things are. I mean, things change in nature constantly. I mean, it might take a while, but like things change.
Have you ever seen a pieball?
Yeah, I've seen pieballs. Yeah,
Well, that's albinoism. It's just not a full
it's
gene set.
not dominant.
Yeah. I shot at a pieball buck. That would have been my first archery buck, but I hit a branch. Big 7, about like what you shot, Andrew.
Yeah.
But pieball almost all the way halfway up his back, just spotted like a cow. He was so pretty. But everybody tells you, if you shoot a pieball or an albino, it's bad luck or whatnot. And
Well,
Not superstitious or nothing
Dan
like
Mack, Dan Mack, the one day
you got to get a hold of him. We got to figure out a time.
he showed me a video of a giant fucking albino, and I was like, "Oh, dude, he'd be dead in a heartbeat." He goes, "You're stupid, man." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "I don't want to die." I'm like, "What the hell are you talking
Yeah,
about?"
there's a lot
I'm
of
like,
superstition about them and everything like that.
I don't take that seriously. Not
take-
in the slightest.
I take pieballs pretty serious, especially when I talk to Dad,
Yeah.
because the two biggest deer I've ever seen in my life were traveling together.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you the horn size. Just monsters for around here. We're right together. I wasn't old enough to hunt, so I was just pushing and everything, right? Back when we used to carry walkie-talkies instead of cell phones.
Yeah.
And I was on the walkie-talkie with the dad, like, they're coming right towards you. I knew right where he was supposed to be. He wasn't there. And Dad, if you ever listen to this, I'm still mad at you. We bring it up about 4 times a year. These bucks are coming, right? I never seen the doe. Dad was so enthralled by this doe because she was almost, he said he was probably about 90%, what were we just talking about? Not albino, the other one, pieball.
Oh, yeah, pieball.
About 90% of her was pieball. Like, just the pretty much strip on her back was brown.
Wow.
And, like, her face was brown, but, like, the rest of her was white. And he was so, fascinated by her that he stopped to watch her instead of, if he would have pushed up 5 more yards, like, in the way he was going, them big bucks would have ran him over pretty much. But they were in all, like, the pecker pole trees running.
Yeah.
And he was like, she ran past him, and time she was out of his sight, the first big buck was in front of him, but he couldn't get a shot. And Dad's not one to really take wing shots. If he's getting older, I guess he's smarter. We stop doing that when we get older, I guess. And
because you don't want to wound it and have to chase it 500 yards.
right,
That's
so
drag it out
the
and-
first one ran by
It's already a
him,
pain in the ass as it is.
and when the first one saw him, ran down the hill. He crossed the little driveway to get into the pecker poles.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as he got on the driveway, there's the other one, and that one bumped and ran the other direction, away from But these 2 deer were the biggest things I've ever. I mean, they look like moose. Of course, I don't know, 13, 14 years old. But we've seen some pretty big deer. But I still to this day can see them in my visions. One day I will have one of them. They're way long gone dead, but.
Oh, there'll be more.
Yeah, the only pieball I've ever seen on hoof, I mean, I've seen a lot of them on cameras and stuff like that, but the only one I ever seen was at 7 Point, my 3rd or 4th year bow hunting. And I had him on camera. I had him coming in every day, had him marked out. In one of my lanes, I never saw this little branch that was hanging there. Never saw it, and hit that little branch. And that was the first time I ever recorded, too. I used to stick a big old cannon on my stabilizer. I had a little screwed my stabilizer with a little bolt so I could spin the Canon camera on it. And the only reason we know that that's why I missed is because you could see we slow-moed it down on Windows Editor way back in the day, and you could see the arrow just hit this little branch and just ride over his back. But as it was flying with the camera view, dude, it would have been like one of the best shots in the world.
I watched a video today where a girl, this little girl, she shot a doe, went through the doe, but as it passed out, like probably hit a bone or something, like kicked it up right into their tree camera right behind the doe.
Oh, I saw that.
I saw that today.
I was
Yeah.
actually just like 5 minutes before you guys showed up. I just saw that. I was like, that is, because then there's the picture of her like standing next to it. I'm like, that is awesome.
Well, they even got the trail cam picture of the
Yeah, the
arrow
arrow
inside,
sticking out of it.
sticking out of it.
I'm amazed that trail camera didn't completely like it had an arrow in it, and yet it was still taking pictures.
A lot of cameras and stuff like that. There's a lot of dead space in them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially like trail cameras, the bigger, older ones.
Yeah,
There's a lot of.
the ones that look like a book.
Yeah, I should show you the one at Dad's. It's probably as big as that laptop
Yeah.
you have.
Yeah, they used to be big. You never put a trail camera on a small tree back in the day. You never.
Yeah, now they're the size of your cell phone.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's pretty interesting. So you haven't seen really anything or had an opportunity yet this year.
I've seen out on the property out in Syracuse there. I had a couple doe walking around me. They've been in range, but not in any shooting lanes. Not that I can't shoot a doe anyways because I don't have any doe tags. But
You have your either sex for your bow, but why waste it right now on? Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
Because you didn't get the. You should have got a antlerless, or not an antlerless. You should have got an either sex for your bow, and then you should have got an antlerless for your muzzleloader and bow, right? I didn't get
It's all
muzzleloader
one
this
tag
year.
though. The muzzleloader and bow is one tag.
But when you get your muzzleloader permit, you get 2 tags. I believe.
Well, I have lifetime muzzle and I only have one tag.
I only got the one. I got my
We'd have to have Hunter here because he got both of them.
antlered bow tag, and then I have a bow muzzle loader either sex.
Yeah, I got my regular buck tag.
Yeah.
I got my bow either sex tag. And then Hunter also got that. Then he got a antlerless bow muzzle loader.
Well, you also applied for more than one region. I only applied.
I
for
wasn't
9
even
K.
talking about my doe permits. Then I got my doe
I
permits.
just have a regular season tag and either sex tag. It's bow muzzle loader.
Yeah, that's like what.
It's not.
Oh, I
I
didn't-
don't have 3 tags.
All right, now we're all pulling it out. I kind of like this app that New York has now.
I think they can do a
so-
little bit more work on it still.
Oh, well, I mean, it's only been out, this year?
Yeah, so I got
No,
my.
they've had it for a few years now.
Have they?
Yeah,
So I already filled my buck tag.
Reporting is so easy.
it is so
It's
easy.
so
though.
nice.
So I already filled out my buck tag and reported that. Then I have my bear carcass tag. I have my regular season deer tag, and then I have an antlerless tag, and then a DMP.
Yeah, I only have it either sex or regular season.
Yeah, I got my regular season deer tag, either sex tag, and one more doe permit tag.
It's weird. My either sex tag doesn't unless that's not the one
If you click on it, it says bow muzzleloader either
Yeah.
sex.
on the antlerless one. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I got my bow muzzleloader either sex and
But
a DMP.
I believe Hunter got another tag. He got a antlerless bow muzzleloader tag.
Yeah, because that's what I thought when
And he's a
muzzle on
lifetime.
that I would have a 3rd tag on it that I could fill, but apparently that's not the case.
And you're a lifetime, right?
Yeah, like I got lifetime bow, lifetime muzzle, and lifetime
Regular.
regular, and lifetime fishing.
I should have did it when I was young.
The only thing I'm missing on it would be trapping.
Yeah. I gotta get my trapping permit.
that stuff runs like $800 to $1,000 nowadays.
Now, when we're this old, yeah. Until you're 65, then it goes down. Or if you buy it before they're of age to hunt, then it's only like $200-300.
Yeah, that's the time to do it, man.
And
even if it just means that they're gonna use it for a couple years when they're young, when they go out hunting,
Yeah,
when
but
they go
you'll-
fishing with you.
if they used it for 2 years, you'll pay it right back then and there.
Yeah, it's
I mean, I own my license for everything with my doe permit and all that only cost me $50.
yeah. When I bought them at the time, when I bought just the regular hunting license, went along with the fishing license lifetime. I calculated it out in my column. I'm going to be paying this off and basically pays for itself in about 10 years. So I'm thinking,
Yeah.
So
why not?
$765 between the ages of 12 and 69.
That can't be right. Oh,
It is.
12 and 69. Okay, yeah. Then
And once you're
Yeah,
70, it's $65.
under 5 is 380. 5 to 11 is 3. Oh, I should have bought Zoe's already. I'll have to buy Jackson before he turns 5.
Yeah, do it.
I might have to get Amelia hers because I know Amelia's gonna be. She's gonna be a hunter, dude. Kaylin,
Oh, yeah, then-
Kaylin, not so much because she. Every time I go, like, all right, I'm gonna go hunting. She's like, you gonna shoot a deer? I'm like, hopefully. She goes, I've never eaten deer. I'm never gonna eat deer. I'm like, Kaylin, you've eaten a few deer.
She
She's
came
like,
up.
No.
When she was down at the festival we had down
Yeah.
here, she came up and asked me how my hunting season was going.
Yeah.
Yeah, she came right up to me, like, I don't remember who she was with. I think, like, a friend or out with her friends or something like that, and their dad or whoever. And they come up to me, and he's like, do you know this guy? Like, talking to me, like acted concerned. And because she came up and hugged me and was like, Uncle Dustin, how's it going? How's your deer season? Are these your... She wouldn't shut up for the first 5 minutes,
Yeah.
so I didn't get to answer anything. But, yeah, she was like, how's your deer season going? I was like, never been asked by, like, 6-year-old how my deer season's going. Zoe likes to go hunting. But
Amelia was just asking me if me and you can take her and Zoe out at the same time. I'm like, well, that's a little like not sitting side by side, probably not,
right,
because that's a little difficult.
they would be better in the spring. Take them out on a turkey hunt.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Get one bird down and then take them. That's where I fell in love with hunting, was with turkey season more than deer. But
I
like
think-
Zoe just likes to go out with me and sit there, and she not that she don't understand, but she's like, are they here yet? Are they here yet?
Yeah.
Are they here yet?
Did you see that video? Sitting there, it says, haven't seen any deer yet, wonder why. And he just pans and he's looking at his blind and then turns down, and there's his son just sitting there with little toy cars and bulldozer just digging a hole and just making little noises in there. He goes, see any deer yet? Stands up, holding his toys up, looks at the blind and goes, nope, not yet. And then goes back.
That would be Jackson.
I'll tell you though, if you, because kids are gonna get bored within the first hour. It's
I get
inevitable. They're gonna get bored. They're gonna go, Daddy, can we go back to the house? What I did when I took Amelia out, it wasn't last weekend. It was the weekend before that. I took her tablet out with her, and she didn't even ask for it for like the first hour and a half, which was really awesome. But I brought her snacks, I brought her tablet, and I just made sure the tablet was all the way down, the volume. And she just sat there the entire 5 hours I was there just watching her. Every once in a while, you'd see her look through the window.
Getting her trained, because that's what I do on my phone while I'm reading.
Yeah.
I'll be reading and being like, reading articles and stuff like that, and look up and go,
Well, that's what happened when I shot.
nope, nothing.
That's what happened when I shot my buck, man. I sat down in the tree stand. I hit my vape real quick just to check windage, I guess. Well,
Sure.
I'm a nicotine fiend, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But anyway, I sat down, hit my vape, set it on the seat next to me. I pulled my phone out because I was going to text you. And I didn't even get my phone unlocked when I looked up, and he was standing 45 yards from me, coming straight at me.
Most of the deer that I've seen or shot, I've heard first, because my hearing is shit anymore.
Low frequencies you can pick up real
Yeah,
quick.
like that light crunch and stuff like that, man, I can hear that from a distance. I can hear a
Oh,
bird
I was
poop at 100
freaking-
yards. But I can't hear you talking next to me.
Yesterday when I was out in the tree stand, it was impossible to hear anything coming with you because I have like 12 little freaking chipmunks running around, scattering, and like they were being like somewhat quiet, but any kind of movement you would make, you know, like, what the hell? Just give me up on all, you know.
I love when I hear them, like, and I'm not looking that way. I'll slowly turn my head and like try to find them before they move again, and then I'll hear it and I'll look in a different spot. Hear it again, look. Oh, there you are. I got you.
You know what I love the absolute most is when you got a blue jay perched on your tree.
I hate that.
Love it.
No.
They don't shut the fuck up.
If I hear a blue jay off in the distance, I'm watching that way.
Yeah. Well, no, they'll alert when
I'm
deer
waiting
go
for
by.
a hunter or a deer or a bear to come in. Squirrels and that don't seem to bother them that much, but deer, bear, and humans really bother blue jays. So I'm constantly, if I hear a blue jay going off, I'm like,
What
something.
What
where
is it? What is it?
Yeah, where are you?
Which way you going?
I can't believe it's still raining. I want it to be over already.
I know.
I don't care if tomorrow's wet, because then I can sneak in quiet.
Wet's fine. Raining is eh.
Yeah, it's not fun. That's how I got the short video made today. Because I did go out, and then I came back, and I was, like, in all my gear. I'm like, I can record this. I'm in my gear. Because the last couple days I wanted to, when it's been really nasty outside. I didn't want to put on my hunting gear to record a video, just take off my hunting gear. I was like, I'm already in it. We're good to go. Yeah, it says up till rain ending at 10:15 p.m. and then...
Last time I was out, couldn't find my rangefinder.
No.
Last year I had it, and I'm like, I took it to do something else. I don't remember what it was, because I had to measure something or something like that. So I'm like, I can use my rangefinder to get an estimate, and I can just go off of that. And I remember putting it somewhere, and I was like, probably should put that somewhere else, because I'm gonna forget where that is when it comes time for the season.
Instantly forgot.
I don't know. I don't know where it is. I thought maybe at my parents' house. At my I've searched everywhere. I can't find it, so I ordered a new one. Ended up being cheaper, and it has more like a better quality to it.
Yeah, I used to pick on people that went out with rangefinders until I bought one this year. And I'm never going back. And I don't use it a lot, except for every day when I get in my tree stand. Well, I can't say right away because a lot of times I forget, but I'll always rearrange all the holes that I have for shooting and rearrange like the farthest shot and like be like, okay, that tree's at 35 yards in that hole, so I know I can't shoot past that. Like, I never pull it out when something's coming because I'm the guy that I'm just going to stare at you. I'm going to stare and I'm going to keep staring until either you leave or I shoot you.
Oh, I range them. But the 7-point, I didn't get a chance because... So you don't get, like, good high-definition quality.
Yours is old, though, too.
I pulled out my little mini binos when I saw that buck. I didn't even actually know he was a buck until I pulled the binos out. Then he showed his rack a little bit when he popped out from behind the tree. And I'm looking, I'm like, oh, that's a buck. Like, oh, that's a good buck. So I put those away, and, like, I had trees ranged. I've sat in that tree stand, like, every week since you haven't been in it.
Yeah.
So, like, I knew where all the ranges were, but what was really nice was I didn't have to range them because when you're looking down the sights at them like this,
yeah,
top pin every day.
See, this is why we got to start. We got to figure out how to video record us talking, because the last time we recorded with Andrew, the one that nobody's going to hear because it got deleted, Andrew stood up to explain for like a solid 5 minutes away from the mic, stood up to explain a scenario. And I'm like trying to like grab the mic and like point it at him and be like, dude, talk to the mic. And you could hear it like when you did that, when I was editing it the first time, you could hear like you weren't near the mic. He was like up here pretending to pull his bow back, did the whole scenario and everything. So if anybody was just wondering, Andrew, when he says binos, actually pulls binos out of his chest harness that he's not wearing, puts them up to his eyes like a kid, and uses them and everything.
I do.
So you can just imagine it.
I really do.
We don't have to.
Oh, the rangefinder I got actually, like you can adjust it. It's like my binocs and actually changes the depth.
Mine
on
you
it.
can, but it's hard.
But it's also got when you range something. So like if you're in a tree stand, you range a tree.
It'll do the
Right.
elevation too.
It does your elevation and the actual distance.
Yep.
It wouldn't happen to be a
Mine-
muzzy, would it? Or a muddy,
Muddy.
sorry,
No.
muddy, because that's what
Muddy.
his is, and it
No,
does
it's
it nice.
not
Yeah,
mine.
mine's
Mine also can do speed too. So like if you got something running across the field, you can just track it with that, and it'll tell you how fast it's moving.
That's really.
Oh, mine don't have that, but mine does. Mine does the. I don't like doing the from the tree to the deer, because it's not. I like the line of sight one because that's where my arrow is gonna fly. Because the other one does, but it is nice to know like when you're in a tree stand to be like, okay, what is my angle like to actually do the math of like the triangle that I'm creating.
Yeah, but it also tells you too how far you are. So who knows? Maybe when you're at your tree stand, just just getting ready to climb up it, you have a deer that walks right there.
Yeah.
Right. So now you know you can't sit there and go, okay, I'm in my tree stand. That's at 25 yards. That's normally 25 yards. What am I at? No, oh, that's actually
See what I use.
18. You know, or whatever. Like,
What I used mine for the last time I did it was when I shot my doe. I actually did it. Is I changed it to that and got to her last position to know how far she was from the base of the tree to the deer. That was the only time I used it.
I didn't even think about using it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So being like, all right, that was the last spot because through my line of sight it was 36 yards, but from the base of the tree it was only like 32 yards. But that's what I used it for. And then when I first paced it off, it was like, okay, so many paces, whatever. I could still see it. She was in the wide open, but it was a good, like, oh yeah, that's what that is. But I usually don't. I don't use that one for shooting, just because if you're really high up and at a really steep angle, it's going to say 30 yards. But if you were to do it from the tree, you're only like 5 yards. Because that little spike that I posted about, I think I sent you the video. You could, like, he from the base of my tree was 5 yards. Well, I was 25 feet up in the tree, so he was like almost 10 yards away from me. But he was only not even. He wasn't. Andrew was there. He wasn't even 5 yards from the base of my tree, like 3 yards. Like if I would have went like, oh yeah, 10 yards, I would have shot like way the hell away from him. I would have shot the base of my tree, aimed at 10 yards from him. Ah, excuse me. So, yeah, how much more time you got coming out here for this year? Nothing set up yet?
I don't know. We're going into a huge busy season now. Changing the field over. We got basketball, change it over for field band, and change it back to basketball, then to Syracuse football, and then flip it back to basketball, and then flip it for high school football, and then flip it back for basketball, and flip it back for high school football.
We get it. It works a lot, all right?
The next, 2.5 weeks, like 80-hour work weeks easily.
Yeah. So you're probably not going to get back home to hunt much bow. You'll probably be back for regular season more than
Probably.
anything. I'm supposed to be going up. Well, I'm trying to get to come up towards you to hunt a little bit. I also got a couple guys that are hopefully trying to come
any
down.
of the state lands out there,
I wouldn't go.
but
Everybody that I know that hunts up there, be like, yeah, every 10 feet's a tree stand. In a couple of the state lands that they hunt. And they're my one buddy that hunts up there, it's like, I think it's 180 acres, tiny little. For state land, it's pretty small. He goes, you can't park anywhere because there's literally guys parked all along the roads. And then he says if you do bump into somebody that's in there, be ready for an argument because they're going to get down and argue with you or yell at you that you fucked up their hunt or anything like that. Or when my buddy came out here, same buddy came out here 2 years ago, and I took him up on state land and he got his first buck. He was like, I was kind of like, oh man, we saw like 7 dudes where we wanted to go somewhere and there was a guy, so we'd kind of be like, all right, oh, another guy, oh, another guy. And he goes, wow, there wasn't that many people out hunting today. And I'm going like, what are you talking about? I haven't seen this many people in the woods since I used to hunt with my whole family, and they're all our cousins. So state land gets a little crazy, especially like opening weekend, opening first week. During the rut, like 1st of November here coming up, usually there's a lot more guys up there.
I've heard worse stories from people who lease property, but there's multiple leases on it. Mm-hmm. I've heard worse stories from people who lease.
Oh yeah,
like I'm talking fist fight bad.
Well, just like Dad's story about guys coming up right to his truck and screaming at him and saying he's not allowed to be there. Dad's 65.
Yeah, I know.
Or 60.
I know that guy.
Dad's 60 and been hunting this property since he could hunt when he was 12.
Yeah, I'm not going to name names, but yeah, I had a few drinks with him at the bar, and he actually talked about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it sucks because we've had lifelong leases on properties, and now people are like, oh, well, we can make money on it. Well, we used to work just as the farmer hands and do it that way. And now they're like, well, we need the money. So they have other people come on, and then we'd set up one tree stand for everybody. That was it. Now you go to some of the places that we won't even go there no more because there's literally a tree stand every 50 yards. Not that anybody's ever in them, but we're not ones that climb other people's tree stands. So, but you don't want to hunt near one because if you're hunting there and then they come for a late hunt or something and bump stuff out, it's just Andrew sending me stuff. So, my goodness, I hate being sick. I'm over it, kind of. I'm probably going to be more sick now because I went back out today in the rain and crap.
See what you get?
I know. I used to tell people all the time, oh, you're dumb for hunting in the rain.
Well, I mean, so picture this. If it rains really hard one day of the week, yeah, they will probably bed down and not move most of that day. But if it's like a week like it was the last week, where
3.
it's literally raining every day nonstop, deer have to get up. They have to move. They have to eat. They have to socialize. So, like, you
Light
get a
rain
good...
like we had today, they're still moving around.
Yes. Yeah. It's just a matter of how wet you want to get.
Yeah,
Really.
and like if it's different because like
I
we
just
said,
gotta buy myself some actual rain gear.
Yeah.
I don't have any hunting rain gear.
I have a rain jacket. It's not the best. You still get damp, and you eventually get damp through it. But like the shit I was going through was like pine down and stuff like that. So
I do have a good waterproof jacket. The only issue is it's not camo or nothing.
right,
Well, I mean, no, it's black with red trim on it. So, yeah, it's not that bad. But they can still see that red.
Yeah, I have some rain gear. I've thought about like, cause I got my grandfather's old suit that's this full camo suit, and I thought about putting my rain gear underneath that and putting that on. But nah.
yeah, it like I just started hunting more in the rain. My biggest thing is it would have to be a perfect shot with the best opportunity for me to shoot one in the rain.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a guy, like, see you coming down, the only time you get to hunt is when you're down here, and every time you come down here, it's pissing rain like it has been all season for you. Like, yeah, you kind of, if you want to hunt, you have to go hunting it. I'm not telling people never to hunt in the rain. Like, if that's what you got, that's what you got. Make a hell of a good shot.
The only thing that
Make sure you watch where that some bitch is running.
The only thing that really scares me about it is, especially if it's a steady, consistent rain. Let's say you don't get the best shot. Let's say it is a liver
You gotta track
shot.
it.
Let's say, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Let's
that's what
say
I'm
it is a
saying.
liver shot, and you have to wait 6 hours to go track it. Well, after 6 hours of steady rain, you're not going to find any blood.
And even right now, it's
dealt with that.
it's so wet. The leaves are so wet, the blood just drips right off them.
That's what we dealt with. Big Skinny Analyst, one of the guys that was hunting on the property, he shot a doe. Or I should say button buck because he thought it was a doe. And then he waited an
That's
hour
still a
and
doe
half.
tag.
Yeah.
Waited an hour and a half before we went and got it. And we're like, why'd you wait so long? He's like, well, I didn't want to mess up your guys' hunt. And we're like, if anything, you would have pushed deer to us.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, like, he's colorblind too.
Oh,
So he can't see blood. So it's literally he shoots something and he has to have someone come help him track it. Because he'll look for like just scrapings and footprints and that, but he cannot see.
I can track pretty well that way, can't I, Andrew?
Yeah.
He can't see the blood. And we found one spot of blood about 10 feet away from where he first hit it. No blood after that. Like, we couldn't find it. And then I think it seems like she kind of found a creek and just went down the creek, so any blood anyways would have been in the water. So ended up that my buddy and I, when we went to go see where he was and start tracking, we ended up walking right by where the deer was.
Yeah.
Never even knew it. And then so we ended up putting a second shot into it.
Another thing that screws people, and it screwed me one year, is it was shotgun season, and I had shot a doe. Good shot. She only ran 80 yards and tipped over and died. But it was last light and last legal light. And I didn't have a flashlight. My phone was on like 3%. So I called my dad, and I was like, hey, bring me a flashlight. That's all I need. Well, in his stubbornness, he comes out without a flashlight and tells me, you should just wait for the morning. And like, I kind of argued with him for a second, but he just wouldn't let up. So I was like, all right, whatever. I'll wait till the morning. Well, morning came, and it had started snowing that night. We had like 2 inches of snow on the ground. So try to find some blood that fell on the leaves when there's 2 inches of snow on the ground now. Long story short, we found that deer a week later, actually like 50 or 60 yards from the tree stand.
Yeah.
And she was all tore up. Coyotes got to her and all that. And then,
Well, that buck I shot last year, he was bleeding good. It was a like far back liver shot. It was a far lung liver shot, and a trick I learned about 5 years ago with tracking with Dad, especially at nighttime. Look for bugs. If you're on a blood trail and you can't find like the blood, like because other leaves is falling on it, and you see like earthworms on top of the leaves or like beetles or mosquitoes kind of hovering over something right there, lift that leaf. There's probably blood under it. We tracked that buck because we lost blood for a while. We were tracking it just by would see just these bugs and stuff like that on certain leaves, and we'd look, and yep, there would be blood under that leaf, like it got rolled over or something like that. We started, especially on dirt. It works really good on dirt. Like where we hunt here, it's mostly going to be leaves or fields and stuff. But if you're ever like, my uncle shot one, and this deer just pretty much ran down these driveways. And we kept following on, and you'd lose the blood on it because it was wet mud and it wasn't sticking well. And we waited until about the next morning before the dew really set in and went back out there, and we were finding these earthworms like gathered together on top of the blood and stuff like that. And it was like kind of picked up off that, like, huh. And then next couple of times, and we tracked later in the afternoon or, dusk or dark. So we started to look for it, and you'd find it that way. Of course, Dad's the guy that can see a rock kicked over it. He can't see his feet sometimes. But
pitch black,
Yeah, pitch black, has like a fog light, right? And he's looking, he goes, me and Andrew are following other trails because the one he hit, the one buck he ended up hitting, he just hit it in the brisket. It was just fat, no meat, no nothing, barely any hair, no blood at all. Me and Andrew are following these trails where, Andrew said he saw where he went, so Andrew picked a trail and I picked a trail to try to find blood. Dad's like, you guys aren't on the right trail. We're like, what are you talking about? No, it's over here. We're like, what? He goes, see this rock? It's moved about a foot. That leaves rolled. Then we found a piece of hair. Like, he noticed like that. And it ended up being like it connected to the trail I was on because I found where this deer was running super hard in the ditch line, and I was like, that deer was running, he was not hurt, but like this deer was sunken in, and like it lined right up. And like Dad comes back, he goes, yeah, see this? He goes, picks up this rock, he goes, moss doesn't grow on the bottom of rocks, it grows on the top. And he goes like this, picks it back up, flips it in his hand, and puts it back in the hole that it was in. And we're just like, Andrew's Woods gets dark, man. Yeah. I mean, you shut the lights off. We were as close as we are now. You could not make definition of a guy standing next to you.
No.
As dark as the pines get in his woods. And it was clear. Like, you looked up, and you could see all the stars. There wasn't a cloud in the freaking sky, but you couldn't see your feet, and I wouldn't have been able to see you.
There's quite the canopy there.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not now because all the leaves have fallen off now.
I don't know. Them pines are still dark.
Well, yeah.
Those pines are pretty dark. Your woods is always dark, though. When we would play airsoft and stuff up in his woods, we'd be like, all right, boys, about to be dark. We're not going to play no more. We'd walk to his house and be like, dude, we got another 45 minutes of playtime. What are you talking about? Because as soon as you walked out of the woods, it was like someone just flipped the dimmer switch back up. It's nuts. But like on state land where I was hunting, we hunted until the sun was gone, and we could still pretty much see our pins, and it was like, nah, we got to get out of here now. Yeah. And then Andrew almost fell out of the tree and everything. Yeah, there was no pins left.
Yeah. So, I like to sit till the last second.
I don't.
If I can help it.
I don't. What do you, Rick? Do you like to sit until it's dark, and then get out of the tree?
I kind of start getting out, like if I'm a climber, I kind of like to see where I'm going when I'm getting down on the climber.
See, mine is, Dad always taught me, you're not done hunting until you make it to the truck or you make it home. So, like, his always was that, is that you got out of the tree when you could still see everything around you. So when you got down, you could still see everything. You could still see your pins until you got to either your truck or anything, because I don't know how many times when I was like, old man, what did they know? Got out of the tree at dark, walked back to my truck and bumped enough deer that were close enough to me. I could have shot every single one of them. But it was dark enough, I couldn't. But if I would have left 10, 15 minutes earlier, 20 minutes earlier, I would have got him. Just like that one, I was up on state land. It was like the 5th day in the season. Got out of my tree stand early. When I was driving away from my location, I could still pretty much almost drive without my headlights on. Pulled down like 10, 20 yards. There was another guy parked, but he was hunting the other side. There's a 6-point standing right by his truck. It's like
The irony.
if that guy would have just headed to his truck when I did, he'd be all done hunting. But that's like turkey season. A lot of times we usually head to the truck. We don't ever hunt till noon. We're always heading back about like 11 o'clock. Because back when trucks really had good chrome bumpers, there was a lot of times the toms would be sitting there fighting your bumpers. Dude, there's got to be a half a dozen or times that me and Dad would call birds away from his truck so that we could either get to his truck or shoot them. Because they would be sitting there. He had the old red pickup truck. Old red. You remember that bench seat thing? Beautiful red truck. Chrome as the shiniest chrome bumpers on that thing. And man, I don't know if it was the red of the truck and the chrome bumpers. Man, that made Tom's hot. He polished it every spring before turkey season too. Because there'd be scratches and dings and dents from birds fighting it. There was one time I don't know, 8 or 9 toms fighting this truck. And we're sitting there at like 80 yards, like giggling out loud, like, this is awesome. Like, what do we do? And Dad just goes, "What? Here they come running." Like, oh, there's a hen here too. Like, forgot the other toms that they were fighting that weren't there. You would think them hitting, like, bumper and chrome would hurt. Hell no, they just keep going.
Not when they're worked up, man.
But yeah, just a couple putts here, they come running. We're like, well, that was stupid. We're on, like, wide open. So we, like, dove off the tracks to get, because in New York, you got to be, I don't know if other states, but New York, you got to be, like, 50 feet off the tracks. Or maybe it's not that far. A lot of old railroad tracks had poles going down the sides, like fences and stuff, like on farmland. And that was as close as you could get to the tracks. And Andrew's gonna look it up for us. So we like dove on the other side of that, like as fast as we can. How far away can you be off railroad and hunt? While Andrew's looking this up, but we like dove off of that and like dove into this thick brush. So these birds like ran back up onto the tracks.
Technically,
and we had to call them
the
off.
tracks actually isn't your property.
No, it's federal.
It's federal property.
Well,
so
it's
you have to-
privately owned.
Privately owned. Oh yeah.
But it's on federal land or whatnot. I think it's. I want to say it's like 15 feet. It's not 50 feet. 50 feet is the road.
50.
Is it 50 feet?
Yeah, because it's privately owned, the tracks.
Weighs 50 feet wide.
From the center line of the main track.
Really?
Yeah.
I know the roadway's 50 feet from, or most townships, it's 50 feet from the center line.
For the road, it's 150.
No, the town. I'm saying the town owns.
Oh yeah.
So like the town owns actually like 10 feet into my yard.
Mm-hmm.
Time the 50 feet from the road. I mean, I guess it could be, because really 50 feet ain't that far. That's only 17 yards, 18 yards.
What's that now?
3 times. It's like 20 yards.
What, 50 feet?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not far at all, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a little bit more. It's more like
Well,
6 yards.
it's 3 feet in a yard.
3 feet. Yeah.
So 3 times 10 is 30. 3 times 15 is 45. So it's like 18 yards. Which is weird, because I knew growing up, like, that was a huge thing. People would push tracks, and guys just standing on the tracks. You used to drive, like, when we'd be on the bus to go to school, you'd just look down at the tracks and just see orange walking up and down them, hunting them. Tracks is a good place to hunt next to, though, because that's where they're going to cross.
Brush line, too.
Yeah. Usually got brush, and you can usually find a good run that they're going to run up over.
It's where they hole up on our property, right next to our property there on Shimmicks.
That's thick right next to the
It's
tracks.
right there, right by the tracks, and that's where they don't come out until about right as the sun's down. They start coming out then.
That's when you gotta get your mom and dad out there to go bang pots and pans and scare them to you.
Yeah, my parents have been saying they've been seeing that buck in their apple orchard.
Someone
about
ju-
like 7:30, 8 o'clock at night every night.
Someone at the diner was just talking 3 days ago. They said they saw a 12-point cross out of your property.
There's definitely an 8-point running around. I haven't seen a 12-point.
You know, right.
But of course, my dad has. He took the SD cards out of all the cameras and haven't put them back in.
Yeah, it's an older guy, so maybe more like maybe 8 to 10 to maybe 12. I don't know. But they said because you got the power company,
Just
right?
then, yeah.
And then you got, or they're not the actual company, the power company, down the road right by the substation, and then you got that house just across the road from it.
Yoakum's?
Yeah, it was between Yoakum's and Eric's house, right there in the middle of the field, crossed from yours, and ran up onto Eric's.
That'd actually be Moss's over on that corner, that small field.
Well, yeah, but it came out of where yours was. If he's there, he's probably been to yours too.
Yeah, then they got a bunch of red brush on our right side, so that's the problem with our woods, is that there's nothing in our woods that holds them.
That's like Andrews. Andrews is just the corridor.
There's thick brush over in this corner that they hole up in, and then there's a bunch of red brush on the right, the other side on Moss's property. So what I need to do is I actually just need to contact him and just say, hey, can I push your property? Like, I'm not even asking to hunt. I'm just asking to push.
Yeah.
Can I just, can we just
Let's
push
go
it
in there and make a crap load of noise.
Chase them out and see if they come back in,
Yeah. That's like Andrews. That's why we're working on Andrews with doing like trail management now. And next year we're going to be working on getting food plots and everything in there. Cause
throw out a couple pines there.
There's a lot of pine.
Open up the light. That's all you need to do. That's all management of forest is just managing the light.
Yeah, so that's one of like the plans we have is
yeah.
we're gonna do a little bit of clear cutting, not like nothing major. We don't want to alter everything completely.
Yeah, if you don't want to alter it, I'd say don't take more than 33%.
Yeah.
Well, 33% would just be the pines, and then all the hardwoods would be able to be there.
33% of 33% of the canopy, existing canopies there.
But think about that: if we took down the majority of the old pines and planted good new ones, like little ones,
yeah,
that would give them an extended bedding area. The extra light would grow more goldenrod.
Deer love pine trees.
I know. The soil would start turning back to normal because now the soil is so acidic.
We got it tested because we threw a little food plot in there, and it grew great for the first 2 weeks. I mean, it grew like knee high.
They ate
and then
shit out of it.
Fell over. But we went and got it tested down here, and they said they've never seen a higher acid level in dirt that anybody's ever brought to them. And I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "It wouldn't even read." And I'm just like, "Awesome."
No. Hey, what did he do? He said he recommended an entire pallet.
I said, what about? I was like, we don't want to do a whole acre, He goes, a pallet. I'm like, a pallet of what? What are you talking about? You want me to get a bunch of pallets, chop it up, and throw it out there? He goes like, no, a pallet of lime. He goes, you'll need a pallet of lime to even bring any of that back.
And we considered it, but then we just thought to ourselves, like, well, I mean,
we have other areas we could make food plots out of.
Yes.
That was just where we put a blind, and it was like, okay, we could put food plots here. It's already a corridor where they're heading. So we changed it, like, all right, we're going to get out of the woods where he has some swamp fields and stuff like that to make that into food plot. Dad said we could use a lot of that ditchings, too.
Okay.
And if not that, probably could call the county next spring and see what they got for ditchings.
Yeah.
To make the drives and all that. So
I would almost just use milling. You talking about the driveways?
No, like, how we got that, you got that one knoll that we got to get down and stuff like that.
So this is the
At least use ditchings to get it. Then you can put gravel and stuff
This
on
is the
top.
property I've been hunting. My tree stand's over here right now.
Right.
This is all goldenrod here. A bunch of pines in here. And this
Is that where you took the video from?
pine plantation now.
Okay.
So I'm trying to get on this edge of the goldenrod because they got a path that goes right through here.
Yeah.
But I've had them walk. They'll walk through here and then they walk along this line and they walk right behind me.
Yeah.
They'll come right there. They're all within 25, 30, 40 yards of me the entire time. They're walking around me. No shooting lanes because they're just too far out. I have basically only like 15, 20 yards of shooting lane.
That's the worst part about state land is you can't make shooting lanes. So you got to find a tree and just that's what you got.
Yeah.
Like today when
I've talked to them, they'll allow me to move things a little bit, and
Right. I just like to
But
go out with the prunes and
I wanna
there's a
move
branch
that.
here and a branch there. But
I want
you
to get
can't.
right on the edge of that goldenrod so I can hunt the field
Mm-hmm.
and hunt into the stand a little bit.
Right.
But I had two doe the other day, like sat right behind me, and they kind of bedded down right behind me. I'm in a climber.
Yeah.
It's dark.
Yeah.
It's like, how do I get down without bumping them?
Just get
'Cause,
down.
But at the same time, I kind of like in my mind, I'm like, hey, they definitely know. Like they have some scent of me in the area, right? Right now, they don't see me as a threat, or that scent as a threat. So if I kick them right now, they're gonna associate danger with that smell, right? So eventually, I mean, I sat there, waited for 15 more minutes, and they got up and walked away. But it's kind of annoying with a climber because there's no way you can get down quietly with a climber.
Do what Dad does. He just talks to him. Every time he's bumped one, how you doing, girl? It's all right. I'm not kidding you. That shit works. They get used to be like, he wasn't a threat. It's just that old son of a bitch is back here. Bang! Dude, he had, when we were down in the hunt in the swamp, he had these deer so trained for his truck that they would follow him out of the woods. And I didn't believe him. He's like, come with me. You know, I would always park away and then walk all the way back in where I took you turkey hunting, right? And Dad would drive back in. Whatever, you know. And the one time he drove back to pick me up. And I'm like, don't drive back here. I said, just come pick me up, you know, and I'll walk to you. I'll get around these deer and I'll walk to you. No. Don't worry about that. I'm like, whatever. Drives by these deer. They didn't flinch. They were only like 20 yards from his truck. Music playing, just bebopping through the field. Gets to me and I'm like, and he's just giggling because he knows he's right. And we start driving by. He gets right up equal to him. They're feeding. They didn't even look up. He goes, "What's up, girls? How you doing?" And they looked up, looked at him. He starts driving away. They followed us for like another 20 yards, like got in his drive line and just followed us. And he goes, "Hey, we're going home. Go do your own shit." And they just back in the field to feed and drove away. He got one of them because then he drove up the one day, drove to the back, got out of the truck, walked to the woods line. "Hey, girls." They looked up, bang, dead. I don't know how many times I've heard him be in the woods and be like, "Where are you going? Don't worry about that." Bang! For the guy that used to hunt in jeans and a flannel. Just, "Hey, where are you going?" Bang! Lo and behold, Dad's never got any monsters. He's got some nice bucks, but no monsters. But I tell you what, if you got to fill a freezer, "Hey, girl, what are you doing?" Don't bat at him. Just, "Hey, baby." Talk sweet to him. That's what Dad will tell you. Talk sweet to him. Just like turkeys. We've bumped turkeys before. And you go, "Here, turkey, 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 turkey." Woo! And it's just like, see, it works. And it's like, oh my God, this old guy's going to get me. I tell you what he wants me to do, like, when he ever passes. What he wants me to do. He wants me to, I got to find somebody. I don't know even if it's possible. Wants me to take his ashes and get a bunch of, like, turkey load made. Like, ashes with the pellets and ashes in the gunpowder. I'm like, why? So, like, if I fail, I can blame you? He goes, yeah. I was like, yeah, what's the chances of that piece of that you getting into that bird and then I eating it? I'm like, then I'm eating my father? I was like, that don't sound right. I was like, but it is kind of a cool idea to always have your best turkey buddy with you out hunting. I said, the worst part is I'd get down to, like, the last shell or something and be like, I can't turkey hunt no more. Or Jackson goes out not knowing the right shells. I'm gonna go shoot a bunch of squirrels, Dad. I'm gonna take the 12 gauge. All right, whatever. Take the right shells. Takes all Papa and blows them out into the fucking trees every other direction.
And just keep one that's completely just full of ashes and just leave that one.
That would be the one that have the biggest bird and be like, not think about it and load that. Biggest bird I've ever seen. 2-inch spurs, 10-inch beard.
Yeah, and you just click.
Poof! Just like a muzzle loader, just powder everywhere.
I can see
You just put that into the world.
I
Thanks.
can see that in my head.
Or we'll go get a bunch of them made.
You know, I can hear you're dead.
Yeah.
Just giggling.
Yeah, I always told him I was gonna get him like compressed into a stone, so when somebody pisses me off, I could throw the rock at him and be like, "Yeah, Dad says fuck you too." Because that was like way back in the day. He always wanted to be like, "Oh, I just want you guys, all the kids just take a piece of him to like their favorite hunting spots and throw them to the wind or whatnot." It'd be kind of cool if we all got shells or something like that, and we all just have some ashes in there and just. Yeah, that was fun. That hip in them shoes. Just talk sweet to him. Hashtag that. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So you don't think you're gonna get down much probably for bow season, the rest of bow season,
Probably not.
and we'll have.
I got all the sick time I got to use up. I got like 150 hours I got to use up before the end of the year.
That sounds like a good, perfect time for deer
But
hunting.
at the same time,
You're sick. You haven't got your vitamin venison.
yeah, but the problem is like you can't go like a consecutive amount of days in a row without having a note, like a
Doctor's
note.
Yeah.
And then on top of that,
I still got to get
It's
up for
like-
one of them Syracuse games.
all the it's like I can't use like you only can use the sick time to get you up to 40 hours, right? So if I work overtime that week and I use a sick day, I can't actually use that sick time. It's just
Really?
really.
Oh.
So if I work 45 hours in a week,
But
and,
does the sick time still go away?
But I'm only working 5 days 5 days that week. I can't use any sick time. If I work 39 hours, let's say I work 39 hours because I had one night where we did an overnight or something, and we worked Friday, and I decided to take it off. I only can use one hour just to get me up to 40. I can't use.
What
8
does
hours.
it subtract from your total? Anyways, so like they used 1 hour to pay you for 40, but you missed 8 hours.
No,
or they
no.
Oh,
Like
okay.
it only
I
only
would be like
use it to
that
get
would
you.
be screwed. Like
And they don't cash you in at the end of the year either. You cash you out, so it rolls
So you
over.
have to use
it
it.
rolls over for a year and then it drops.
So you kind of have to use
It's
them.
just, so I've got like 120, 150 hours that I'm trying to use up.
That sounds like the first week in November. You're gonna have a hell of a cough.
Yeah, but like I'm using it now this week because I took Friday and Monday off because I'm using it up.
Yeah.
It's a 40-hour work week, so I'm using the time up,
Right.
and I'm not missing out on any overtime. So it makes sense to use it.
You guys haven't had your homecoming game yet, have you?
No idea.
You don't really pay attention. You just
No.
make the field the way it needs to be made and go home.
No, I barely know what the score is
No.
until the very end. I go, haha, we suck as usual.
Yeah. I got a professor who's up there for like every game. He goes up into the box and stuff like that. So he's been keeps telling me, you gotta come out for a game, you gotta come out for a game. I'm like, the seats I get are not the seats you get.
Hey, but you can get free seats.
I know.
Free
That's
tickets.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I don't know, like, if you try to come out for, like, a big game, like, well, I mean, we already had Clemson, but, like,
that was the one he really wanted me. I'm like, I'm not.
Those seats are probably be up in the nosebleeds, but there's been times I get free tickets and they're like,
front row. Middle.
They won't be- they'll-
middle row.
yeah, they're like middle row or on the lower level of it. Like,
I'm not a sports guy enough to drive, unless I lined it up where I could hunt out there, like a day or two.
no,
Go
because
to
you
the
don't want to
game.
just come out there and drink bourbon with me. Okay, got it.
I mean, we used to do that all the time, but now I'm getting out of the army too, so I'm not going to be doing that no more neither. So now I guess I will have to come and watch sports.
Come out, watch a game.
Ooh,
I'll
team.
be working, and then after the game's done, meet you back at my place, get hammered.
Bet.
I got a dartboard, I got a pool table.
Then we can go hunting.
We'll see.
We'll go
State
hunting.
land though.
That's fine. Your buddies will let me hunt. I'm a good person. I'm a talker. I'll turn them onto my side no matter what. Huh. Huh.
Yeah, they
Taking
won't
my
mind.
tree
I mean,
stand
I'm like the
away.
only one that we'd do some squirrel hunting or something. We could do that.
But on that note, now that we've talked about sports on this podcast, that's a first. So I'm glad you got out here because you're supposed to be out here 2 weeks ago, but busy Ricky running around, which is okay.
I spent time with my dad.
Yeah, I'm not complaining. But I kind of kept forcing you. I kept texting. I'm like, "Are you coming out?" So like,
Gets a little pushy.
what time are you coming? I gotta get a podcast out. We didn't get one out this week because I was supposed to have a guest Wednesday.
Not for lack of trying.
Right. I was supposed to have a guest Wednesday. He ended up canceling on me, and it was just gonna be me and him and Paul, the editor. So our normal host with me on like our Wednesday morning ones is Hunter. So I told him, hey, don't worry about coming out. So he planned on going hunting, and I texted him Thursday night being like, hey, our guest canceled. Can you still make it? He's like, I'm going hunting. I'm like, yeah? He goes, I'm going hunting. And I'm like, okay. And then me and Andrew tried that night, and he kept getting phone calls every time we started recording. And then our buddy DJ showed up, and we were out here till like 11:30, and we never hit the record button.
No, we were just bullshitting.
And then me and Andrew just recorded one the other night, and we lost it all. So it's easy, but it's not as easy as it sounds to, especially when like my schedule, I'm off in the mornings. Most people get off in the afternoons. I'm still busy until like 6, 7 o'clock at night. So it's either late at night like this, where we're going on to 10:30, or early Wednesdays with Hunter, because Andrew's working. Paulie's also a disabled vet, so he can show up whenever the hell he feels like it, which he now does again. So all fun.
Yeah.
It's been fun. I didn't think we'd actually make it this far. I thought we'd get in like 2 episodes and be like, this is stupid. But we're on 4 episodes.
It's slowly getting there, man. I mean, we got followers now.
Yeah, we're getting a couple followers. We're getting got a couple guests still lined up to come in more. So no one wants to just hear me and Hunter talk every Wednesday about something. We did talk about what dinosaurs that's a question I'm going to start asking everybody. If you could hunt anything that is extinct. All right, first question. Okay, that's not the first question. I know you said we're done, but we're going to keep going. Ricky, what animal do you want to hunt the most that is alive today? If you had the opportunity. Everything's paid for, you can just go hunt it. I know Andrew's. That's grizzly bears. He'd never even asked that question.
With a bow.
With a bow.
With a bow, yes.
He wants to go after them Kodiaks.
Kodiak Island, and it's like the windiest island. So like you got to make sure your shot's good. You got to make sure you play the wind.
You also got something that could kill you in one swipe.
You need somebody about 100 yards behind you with a high-powered rifle, just in case. Because I'm sorry, I'm first to admit, grizzly bear attacks me, I'm dead.
I told you I'd be the guy. I'd be the guy behind you, but I'm gonna let him get one swing.
Oh, you
I want him to, you gotta come away with some scars, man. Like, I ain't gonna let him kill you. I'll let him just get you a couple scars.
First swipe right across the throat. Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm tourniquet high and tight, man.
Mm.
It's on the throat, just high and tighter. Blood will stop pumping eventually.
Yeah, when I'm dead.
So
all bleeding stops eventually.
Yeah. So if you could go hunt anything, all expenses paid, you go for a week to hunt whatever you wanted.
I'd probably say like elk.
Yeah.
Probably. I don't know. I haven't really thought about that much.
Really?
A moose is at my second slot.
Moose would be cool, but also slightly terrifying too.
Yeah, I'm sure you watch Meat Eater.
Yeah, once in a while.
Remember, did you see the episode where Steve actually shot a moose, but he didn't kill it? He walked up to put the kill shot in it, and it got up and came at him and actually bumped him in the ass a little bit.
Did I tell you, he did an interview about that and why he didn't shoot right then and there?
Yeah, he didn't have a round chambered. He forgot to rechamber.
No, he chambered all of them, like, because you see in the film he chambers, like, after he shoots, then he's walking, he chambers another one, and then when he's getting ready, he chambers his third one.
That's pure adrenaline.
And he kicked out all of his shells. He shot the first one and then chambered the next two. And just, pew, right out the window they went. I don't know. I want to go on an elk hunt, but I'm not going to be I don't want to be I wouldn't go just for me. I would more want to go guide for him. Like, I would, like, if you guys wanted to go, I would go with you and do all the calling and the scouting.
I'll let you know when I buy my over-the-counter.
Yeah. Like, that would be... Hunter's is, he would want to do the Turkey Grand Slam. Was his big one. Or, that or elk. Mine is mule deer or antelope.
Mule deer would be cool.
Mule deer would
That'd be
really.
But then
Cool.
again, some of those wild boar hunts they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to go on one, but it's not at like the top of my list or
Yeah.
nothing. But yeah, no, that'd be pretty fun
I
too.
would. It's not at the top of my list, but it'd probably be the easiest opportunity. To
Oh,
go.
yeah,
I got
I mean-
buddies down south that do it, and I could go hunt with them. But it's just always the time when
I got family in Texas, bud.
the time. Well, yeah, but it's the time when like I really start thinking about hunting. It's deer.
Yeah.
It's deer season here. I mean, the Grand Slam for turkeys would be cool, but if I could have like 1 week to go, all expenses paid, wherever I wanted to go to hunt an animal, it
Like
would
a
be
Merriam. A Merriam
Mule
would be
deer.
cool to take.
Merriams would be cool. Osceolas, Rio Grandes, all the turkeys would be cool.
Yeah.
Turkeys are awesome. Andrew's just getting into turkey hunting because he finally had some kind of luck this spring. He missed, but me and Dad had a monster come into him.
Every bit of a 9-inch beard, if not bigger. He had to
You
get
can see
every bit of.
I know how I feel. I shot at one that was
That was a big.
Huge.
That was a big bird.
missed him twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, so this was before I was like acquainted with yardage. Like I didn't have a rangefinder. None of us had a rangefinder. But I mean, these guys are pretty good at range anyway. But like in my head, when he was coming up, like in my head, I was thinking, oh, he's like 50 yards. You know, I want him to get closer. I want him to get closer. Well,
I'm going-
Dustin's to my left, going, shoot him, shoot him.
Shoot,
What are you
Andrew.
doing? Shoot him.
Shoot, and he goes, "What? Shoot him!" Like it wasn't even whispering anymore. Like we're as far as the way we are now. It's like, Andrew, shoot. Andrew, shoot. Andrew, what are you doing? Shoot.
Yeah, and I didn't pull the trigger so he'd already turned and started walking away. So like I felt rushed. I had peer pressure on me from both him and his dad.
Dad was just giggling. Like, can't believe this is happening.
But I mean, I guess the reason that I wasn't as into it before was because I was never doing it properly. Like when I was a kid trying to turkey hunt, I wouldn't go out there till like 9 o'clock in the morning. That ain't how you turkey hunt. You got to be out there at the ass crack of dawn, and you got to locate them, and then
Call him from the roost.
call them from the roost. And that's exactly what they showed me, and I couldn't believe it. One time. I was
then
like,
me and Dad are just going,
what?
which one? And Andrew's going, what do you mean what one? And we're like, well, we can get that. We'll go down this driveway. And Andrew's like, they're right here. We'll go down this driveway a little bit. We'll set up. We'll get all ready. Andrew's, oh, okay. We get over there and it's like, kind of waited, gave him quiet time, just went, oh! And Andrew's like, they're coming. I'm like, yeah, all right, time to get down. We're still standing in the driveway, and Andrew's like, what? He's like, you sit there, we'll sit here, just follow us, bud. And then I'm sitting there with the camera. I'm like leaned over the tree, and I could see down the driveway, and he's just hammering and hammering, and like never even fully going out of a strut, hammering.
No,
Andrew's like, where is he? And I'm like, oh, he's coming. Don't worry.
I don't think he even stopped to take a breath. It was just go, go, go.
Yeah.
Non-stop.
But on to the second question. Any animal that is extinct that you could go hunt? Dinosaur, mammoth. Mine would be the mastodon.
I got two.
Not quite an elephant, not quite a mammoth. Look up, we did the dino one. You should go listen to it.
Saber-tooth would be pretty cool.
We talked about the saber-tooth. Like, everybody was pretty much out of that. I kind of was like, eh. But a woolly mammoth, like, size, is not much taller than this camper. They're only, like, 13 feet tall. 10 to 12 feet. That's
Interesting.
not even to the top of the... But every movie you see of them, they're gigantic.
See, this is one of mine that I would...
What, the short-nosed bear? Woolly rhino? Woolly rhino would be pretty cool.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, they're as big as a mammoth.
Yeah. But twice as aggressive.
Yeah, Hunter said he pretty much wouldn't pick any. Couldn't pick anything. He wouldn't be interested in hunting anything extinct. I think Paul was all about the saber-toothed cat.
That would be danger, danger, danger.
Yeah.
But no, Irish elk is, but for extinct, that'd be at the top of my list.
I don't even know.
6
We didn't even
foot-
bring them up. I think we totally forgot about them.
Damn.
6 foot 11 inches tall at the shoulders, and they're big.
Yeah, I would be able to run
Like-
underneath their legs.
I mean, that's almost. I mean, moose
what-
are almost that big, right?
They're
Like-
bigger than moose.
They're bigger.
Yeah.
Oh, where did that picture go? Oh, it's not going to give me a close up of it.
No,
get
you'll have to
outta here.
download
Oh,
it.
there it
Oh,
is.
there it goes.
Yeah, like that would be amazing. I mean, don't get me wrong, the adrenaline shakes, dude. Holy, I don't even know if I'd be able to pull my bow back.
Going. Actually, like, I don't really have an urge to ever leave America to hunt. But a stag would be pretty cool.
A red
like,
stag?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not going to Texas for them, but actually go to Europe to hunt red stag would be pretty cool. That weird.
They almost bark.
Yeah, it's kind of a
Kinda.
weird sound. I've never looked into them much besides, like, I do like deer species. Look up the size comparison compared to, you got the red or Irish elk up there size. Look up the size, moose size.
So yeah, Irish elk was 6 feet 11 inches.
Look up the plural for moose.
Almost
6 feet.
So
Pretty close.
Pretty similar.
pretty close. Not,
What the antlers are than them are just ginormous. They're pretty much.
it always just amazes me, like moose, even deer, being as big as they are, and how they've been able to sustain themselves and so quiet.
Yeah.
Like they can walk right behind.
Well, look at like moose
and
are just
you would never know.
yeah,
Right.
just living off branches and bark and leaves.
Yeah.
But yeah, like a deer could just walk with almost no sound.
Yeah. It just blows my mind.
Don't if you don't like quiet things, don't walk with Andrew in the woods.
I'm not a very sneaky guy.
You know me. You've hunted with me where I've got turned around and went, Ricky, you gotta walk quieter.
I'm not a very sneaky guy. I've
But
been
the other-
trying to work
other
on
time,
it.
you know,
Yeah.
I've learned a bit.
Yeah.
Because when I went hunting with you,
Yeah, we went hunting and I was like turned around and went, God damn, Rick, you're actually pretty goddamn quiet out here. Yeah, I
hey, you always were about to draw your bow thinking a deer was coming. And you
yeah,
said,
he snuck right up on me. But it was yeah. It amazes me like how quiet they can be too. But then you hear like watch the videos of like moose coming into the like into somebody hunting and they're just raking frickin' their
Yeah.
paddles around.
The largest recorded moose ever shot was an Alaskan moose at 7 foot and 1,808 pounds.
Dang.
oh,
Could you imagine
Ever see that
backpacking
picture of that
motherfucker
diesel
out of
moose?
a diesel moose?
He's just look like type in like diesel moose, like or like moose bodybuilder or something like that.
yeah,
This
that's one thing with moose hunts. I don't think I could do like
all that out.
backpacking that out. That's
You gotta do that with elk.
yeah, that too.
You know,
I feel like
Yeah, it's a couple.
it's
It's a couple man team. Go to images.
a lot of meat.
Oh, you put moose diesel. I said diesel moose, like big moose. Jacked moose. Look up jacked moose. This thing's huge. There we go. There he goes. He's working out the computer. That thing.
Yeah.
Look at that thing.
Staring you down at like 40 yards. Could you imagine?
Looks like he eats nothing but creatine and steroids for a living.
Nothing but HGH.
Just
Oh, it's a video?
yeah.
I don't want
Oh, I don't got the YouTube account on here.
Yeah, you do.
Why wasn't it signed in then?
It's not signed in. You still gotta sign in.
I'm not giving him my passcodes. Then he can go on YouTube and do things. Oh, well, is it gonna let him?
Oh, maybe.
There's another one of this moose walking down the highway. Look at that thing. He's just huge. Yeah, if anybody wants to see what we're looking at, type in jacked moose on YouTube. The thing's just monstrous.
Oh, he's tipping. He's tipping.
Looks like he could just, like, not even use his back legs and just, like, arm crawl at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, type in, like, moose walking down the highway, like, giant moose walking down the highway. There's another one, this guy pulls up to this moose, as he's walking down the highway or driving down the highway, and it's unreal. Especially since none of us, well, I've seen him in the wild up in Maine.
Oh, yeah.
That thing.
Oh, yeah. I've seen this video, dude.
Yeah.
He is a monster.
Don't Moose Around is the clip's name. And you can see what we're looking at. Yeah, that car looks like he could drive underneath it. Look at that thing. Not a care in the world. Just
Well, I mean, think about it. If you were that big, what would you be worried about?
yeah, cars are small to you.
You'd probably get hit by a car and walk it off.
Most of them do. They like in Alaska and stuff. They do tell you like if there's a moose in the road, go to the ditch. Do not hit it.
You'd have less damage hitting the ditch
Yes.
than you would from the moose. And
Yeah.
if anything, if you took the moose's legs out and it came
just-
through the windshield,
They're just laying.
You're
there.
dead.
you're crushed.
Yeah. Well, that
Crushed.
thing was just freaking.
I mean, this thing's not as big, but I mean, fuck, it's still big, man.
Yeah. That's just.
That's a lot of meat.
We had that video the other day, another week I was here, showed you those elk, or that were fighting each other, just trampling over the trees.
Oh yeah, and that they were hunting and they're just.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
The guy's like sitting there and the arrow's going just 100 miles an hour. It's probably a newer video. I don't know what it was on. They dang near trample the guy that they were videoing. It just these elk just come running through fighting. Right, that one? No,
No.
that's not the right one. It was a short. But yeah, it was crazy. Put elk fighting almost trample hunter. Or Ricky might be able. It's on Instagram. Nope. Scroll down. You can show Andrew. You can show Andrew after we're done. We're
I'm trying
gonna.
to see hunting the wild code.
What is it?
Hunting the wild code.
Oh, yeah, but that's on Instagram.
Yeah.
You can show Andrew after this. But on that note, Rick, I appreciate you coming out and sitting down with us. Hopefully you can do it some more. Whenever
Hopefully.
you're out. I'd like to have you keep you on a guest. I'd like to talk to you some about like we did a little bit about the forestry and stuff like that that's something you kind of went to school for and did a lot of work with over time. But on that number, I would like to thank you for coming out, for sure. Andrew's still scrolling through YouTube. We're not even going to say goodbye to him. You got any last little tidbits, Andrew, or want to say bye to the peoples?
Well, yeah, goodbye. But always wear your harness.
Nice. Hashtag harnesses save lives.
They do.
On that number. All right, guys. Have a good one.
Record button.
Mm-hmm.